I've been thinking about this a lot, and this is something that you don't really see a lot of people talk about in the community, and it's that just because you are dealing with a chronic illness, right, just because you're sick, you're a dialysis patient, doesn't mean that there aren't people out there that still want to hurt you. As a dialysis patient, you are still in a very physically vulnerable position. If you are a individual who believes that oh well, that can't happen to me, for whatever your reason is, for whatever, if it's because of what you do for a living as a dialysis patient, or where you live, or how much money you have in your bank account, if you believe that that excludes you from these things, then you need to get your cell phone out of your pocket and you need to Google what the definition of a random act of violence is. You are just a victim waiting to happen. Now, this video is not me advocating for any one thing over the other, right? But as a dialysis patient, you still need to protect yourself. Whatever that means to you. I cannot wrap my mind around all of this time that I've accrued on the transplant list, all of these dialysis treatments that I've done already, not being able to see my family or my friends or the people I care about anymore because I was too scared to protect myself from some punk that wanted to just take all that stuff away from me just because they felt like it. You have to find what works for you, right? Because there's no one solution that'll fit everybody. There's no one size fit all with this stuff. You got to find whatever solution works for you. That's the first thing that I usually hear when people talk about self-defense is like jujitsu, right? But there's some people who are not in physical condition to do that. So what else is there? You got to find what works best for you. And for the record, jiu-jitsu is not necessarily equipped for all situations. But like I said, I'm not advocating for anything here, because when you start talking about certain subjects, people get real squeamish when it comes to that sort of thing. But you got to ask yourself, how much does your life mean to you? Or how much does your life mean to other people around you? And I don't really care how much of a badass you are, right? Like, there's certain times throughout being a dialysis patient where you're going to be very vulnerable. Like, for example, I have a catheter in my chest. Now, granted, the catheter is not permanent, but a lot of things can happen within a 4-week period of time. And at any point in time, there could be heparin in my system. Not to mention, I'm trying to get to a kidney transplant. And more importantly, I just enjoy living. And I would like to be able to do whatever I can, whatever preventative measures I can take to do so. And if one of the solutions to your problem is, oh, well, I'll just scream for help, there's such a thing called deferred responsibility. You should look that up. There ain't no guarantee anybody's going to come to your aid. Like I said before, I am not advocating for anything, but I will say that there are certain things that you can do. There are preventative measures that you can take in order to increase your level of safety. Like situational awareness, for example. And this is not even something that I feel like I should be saying, but you would be surprised how many people just are not paying attention to their surroundings. And just paying attention to your surroundings is not even something that I feel like I should be saying in a video. Would you be surprised how often people are just not paying attention to what's going on around them? But there are moments as a dialysis patient where you're extremely vulnerable and weak. Like after you get out of the emergency room, after a surgery, after a dialysis treatment. And in situations like that, you can't just mind over matter it. It doesn't work that way. And the reality is that, with this, you got to put yourself first in certain situations. And lastly, and I've heard this, before. Well, I'll just run away. I'll just walk away. Like I'm too mature to be blah, 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 blah. Right? Sometimes you don't always have the luxury of walking away. Sometimes that decision is not up to you.